So today is November 30th, 2018, and I am working on a rag quilt for a friend of mine's mom for Christmas. And right now I am working on putting in the name Patches of her dog to embroider on some red flannel to make some center squares. And that is what I'm working on right now. Actually, I'm gonna resize and rotate slightly so that way I take up the whole square. So we're gonna rotate it. Dun, 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 rotating. So I am working on a Viking or Husqvarna Viking Designer SE. I love this machine. A friend of mine got it for me as a wedding gift. And yeah, I do everything on here. So it's pretty cool. Ta-da! Rotating slightly so that way I can make it a little bigger. And I resized it. And go down one. So, ta-da! Okay. So now we're going to switch over to here. So I'm going to do what they call is a placement stitch, where it goes around and shows me where it's going, it's going to stitch. So I can see the box so that way I can place my actual flannel easier. Not quite what I thought it was going to do. I thought it was going to do the rectangle of where the actual stitches are going, but it still works. Because what I was going to try to do is set it, since it's on a diagonal, I need to set, instead of my square straight on, I want to set it on a point. So that way the name is actually square, somewhat squared, into the actual square. So I have a cut button. Now I'm going to put you guys down for 1 second so I can place this square in here correctly, and I'll be right back. Alrighty. Alright, so it's all in place. I have it on point, pretty squared up. And we're going to slow the machine down so that way I can actually see what it's doing and it doesn't get stuck on me or anything like that. And let's see how we do. Oops. Okay. Right now it's doing the letter P, and so far it's looking pretty good. It looks like it should come out pretty square. I mean, if it doesn't, it's a creative, what I consider a creative defect. So we'll see what happens. I have 4 names in total to do. Patches is one. Okay, let's see. Shadow, Sebastian, and Max are the other 3. 2 are cats, 2 are dogs. So I'm gonna do the 2 dogs in one style of font, and then the 2 cats in another slightly different style that's what the P looks like. So I'm going to go and I'm going to continue to do the other letters, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so the name Patches is completed. So I just have to trim up the threads that are on here and make it look all pretty, and it's ready to go in the quilt. So 3 more names to go. We'll show you when they're done. Okay, so Patches is done. The next one is another dog named Shadow. I'm going to show you how I input the letters. So you click on the cute little folder up here, and you pick out your font, which I already know that's the one I want to use. You hit load, and then the letters pop up. So it's automatically capital. So I do capital S. You hit this little guy here, and then you spell out the rest of your name. Sorry if my voice sounds a little raspy. I'm coming, getting over bronchitis. Yay, happy holidays to me, right? Yep. Alright, and then you click on this little guy here, and then it gets put in there. Now, we're going to rotate it again. Now we're going to make it as big as I can with the rotation, so that way it stays within the square, because this square is our hoop, so it has to stay within that to be able to stitch. Otherwise, if it's not, I press the button to do it, it's going to yell at me. So that actually looks pretty close. I'm going to hit this, and I guess it fit. So now each letter comes up as its own set, so I can actually do each individual letter as a different color. But as you can see, it's in color. If I hit the stop button over here, then it turns to gray, and it just continues to go on from 1, 2, and so on, instead of stopping in between and saying, hey, you have to change your color. So I'm going to make sure it's nice and flat. Alright, now we're going to tell it to go. So, it's telling me to trim this little tail that always comes right out. So, it says stop to cut the thread ends. I'm hitting start, and it's going to start with the letter S. So, I'll be right back when it finishes to show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, so Shadow is done. Yay! So, 2 more. That's the cat's names. So I'm going to input the next one, and then I'm going to go and rehoop my stabilizer to be able to print it out. So I did this one for the dogs, and I'm going to do this one for the cats. So the first one I'm going to do is Sebastian, because that's a really long one. Switch. Reading my friend's handwriting is not the best. Not the easiest thing to do either. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's see how that looks. Now it's really big, but we're going to rotate it, and hopefully it fits. Otherwise I'll shrink it down. And we gotta shrink it just a bit. Rotate it 1 more, 2 more, 3 more. There we go. So that's what it's gonna look like. Then we're gonna go, I'm gonna reset my stabilizer into my hoop, and we will go from there. I'll stitch it out and show you when it's done. Okay, so Max is the last name I have to do, and ignore that. So it shouldn't take too long. It's saying that it's got 1,276 stitches total, and it should take maybe 5 minutes total, hopefully. Oh, it's in there. There it goes. Let you watch that for a minute. Alright, so I have a couple of fabrics that I have to cut out. We chose, these are the other 3 names so far. I really do like how this font came out better than this one. This one's a little crooked anyway, but it's all good, it still looks cool. So, it's my sewing room. I did cut out doggies with sweaters on. I have paw prints with little red hearts. I have another paw print with hearts. I have cats with sweaters on them. And I have for the back, which also might be a center square, is red and black white plaid. So that's going to be the whole quilt. But for now, I figured let me do just 4 squares and get them going. So we're about halfway done with the M, and I'll show you guys when those 4 are totally done. Okay, guys, so this one's done. I'm gonna clear the screen. Ta-da! All done. I just need to trim this thread here. And then under here is the bobbin thread, which, just hang on one sec. Trim that. Press this button here. And slide her off. So all I have to do is take it out of the hoop, trim the stabilizer away so that way it does cute little circles, so it's not taking up the whole square anymore, and that way it's a little looser and be easier to stitch later. So these are the 4 names. They're gonna actually form the center of the quilt that I'm working on, and like I said, and the other thing I'm doing is cutting. They're 7-inch squares, so I'm cutting 7-inch strips out of this fabric now. There's a lot of it, and then I'll cut that down into 7-inch squares, and then what I'll do is I'll put this on the back, cotton batting in the middle. I actually cut those at 6.5, so that way they're not in the seam bulky. So I would actually sandwich them together, go around, put an X through the center of the whole square. The embroidered ones, I'll probably go around the embroidery, so it forms like a red, like, circle type thing around these. Probably something kind of squiggly or meandering patternish. I haven't figured that fully out yet, instead of just going straight through, so that way I don't go through the stitching unless I go and stop at it and then restart and keep going, which that might be a possibility. Once those are quilted, then I'll lay them all out along with the other fabrics that I showed you of the cats, paw prints, other paw prints, and the dogs that I already cut a lot of squares for. Doggies. And whatnot. And so I will post as part 2 of this and show you how it's coming along. I'm hoping to work on it tomorrow. It is almost 12 o'clock now, and my battery is almost dead. So, gotta go. Ciao.